Which brings us to our first guest, a guy by the name of Stephen Marshall. Stephen has a reputation for being a political agitator, if you will. As far as his politics go, people think he tends to lean left, but that doesn't mean he only rips the right, the Republicans or the conservatives. Stephen's got a new book right now, and it is called, well, Wolves in Sheep's Clothing, the new liberal menace in America. The liberals, the Democrats, to him they've gone soft, and he wants to go after them. We're going to be talking to Stephen Marshall in just a second, but first, here's his bio. Stephen Marshall is a political gadfly, a Sundance award-winning filmmaker, and a relentless critic of the American establishment. Originally from Montreal, Marshall first made a name for himself back in the late 90s. He released an underground VHS news magazine called Channel Zero. And since then, well, Marshall hasn't looked back. In 2000, he helped create the mega-popular Guerrilla News Network. It's like an online alternative media version of CNN. Marshall has also dodged bullets in Baghdad, shooting a documentary called Battleground. He's directed music videos for Eminem, 50 Cent, and the Beastie Boys' Ad Rock. And in 2005, he directed a feature film starring Rosario Dawson called This Revolution. His latest project is a book called Wolves in Sheep's Clothing. In it, Marshall goes for the throat of the limousine liberals who he thinks are a major threat to democracy. Snapshot of the man's life. Here's the man, Mr. Stephen Marshall. Good to see you, buddy. All right. The liberal menace in America, because you know how words have different... who do you mean by liberal?
I mean, really, we're talking about the people who occupy the opposition to conservatives. And I think a lot of the world, and indeed Americans, are hoping for a change now. And what's happening now is a lot of liberals that are coming to the fro, who you're hearing about in the media, don't represent that true opposition. In fact, they have many of the same goals. In that way, it's a huge threat.
When I heard you were writing this book, I kind of had a chuckle, and I thought, well, this is interesting. The guy's going after your people.
Yeah, I mean, I think for me, it's just, if you're going to step into the shoes of power, especially in this era in the world where we are truly trying to be a global village, and you aren't going to speak the truth or be honest about your motives, then we have to challenge you.
What's exciting about Wolves in Sheep's Clothing is that it really challenges you. It challenges you to really look at your own beliefs, and he takes you on this worldwide journey around the world looking at what it means to be a liberal. Tell me about this journey that you went on. What were you out to do?
Well, I think, for me, when people like Christopher Hitchens and Paul Berman and a lot of the sort of better-known anti-war liberals, the 60s came around and supported the bombing of Serbia and Kosovo, and then supported the first Iraq War, and got behind the second one. I was just like, what's that phenomenon about? I mean, is it something that's destined to happen to me? Because there's that famous saying that if you're a conservative before the age of 30, there's something wrong with your heart, and if you're a liberal after 30, there's something wrong with your head. There's a widening front today that stretches from Venezuela, Paraguay to Iran to Indonesia that's anti-American. And it's like, this country doesn't have a choice. I mean, it's like, how many bombs are you going to drop? I mean, at a certain point, you have to turn inward, and hopefully it won't be from a tragedy. It will be from a proactive stance that understands that, transformation begins within and not from without. And the problem is, there's been this whole thing with how we're going to market this book. Mm-hmm. Who's going to buy a book from the guy from the left who's attacking the left? Well, it's not really about that. It's about how do we become global citizens again.
Good to see you, man.
You too, bro.
Stephen Marshall, everybody. Wolves in Sheep's Clothing. That's the name of the brand new book from Stephen Marshall. Good to have on the show. Lots more to come on the program tonight, including this.